They're well known as the Twinnies. Paula and Bridget Powers dress alike, speak in unison and run a wildlife centre together. They're experienced media performers, but during our interview, one of them had to be rushed to hospital.
You right? You need a hand?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind. Hello, Bubba. That's the girl.
It's the medical emergency we didn't see coming.
Trust Faye, she's a... Oh, hang on. Can I just get someone to pick up her legs so that I can get her in there?
It's still the stress of that horrible phone call, because they take everything to heart.
Yeah, well, let's just get something for your head, yeah.
I got my boots for a second.
All right.
What about a jacket?
Paula, you still with me? Hey, come on, you still with me?
So, Helen, what happened with that phone call 2 days ago?
A phone call came through. Paula collapsed off the chair.
Helen Powers is mum to the Twinnies, identical sisters Paula and Bridget, who run this rescue centre for injured birds. And what did the caller say to her, do you know?
That you're only a scamming little so-and-sos, and very, very nasty. Enough to put her blood pressure up and to take bad turn. I'm just so glad that the ambulance service came and took her to hospital, because honestly I thought I lost her.
And now it's happened again. 2 days after being hospitalised, Paula suffers paralysing head pain while we're there for an interview. How would you describe that call that came through the other day?
Wicked. I think the woman is sick.
She's all tangled up in fishing line, as you can see. The hook is set into her beak and her wing.
Who could hate the Twinnies, as they're called? Known not only for the work they do, but their bizarre habit of speaking in unison.
The ibis.
Ladies, lovely to meet you. Congratulations on the work you do.
Thank you.
I think it's amazing.
Thank you.
How long have you been doing this for?
We've been doing this for 22 years now.
All right, well, you'll do your best with her. Don't cry.
She's got water on her lungs.
Okay.
Injured birds like this pelican would die if the Twinnies weren't around.
When we approached her, we just had tears because we thought she was dead. Because when we approached her, she was on her back. She had her head buried in the sand. So if we hadn't went for that rescue, she would have died a terrible death.
And take a look at her now. After a week's treatment at the Twinnies Rescue Centre, Minnie, as the ladies named her, is alive and well. And what do you think would happen to these birds if it wasn't for you?
Well, we don't know what would have happened, but we did have a vet once, and he goes, Twinnies, if you weren't here, half of these birds would probably be euthanized.
The Twinnies left school in grade 10 for health reasons. After they moved here to the Sunshine Coast, they became obsessed with rescuing seabirds in particular who were injured. Steve Irwin was so impressed with them, he employed them for 2 years. Then the Twinnies decided to set up their own facility, and now they estimate they've helped more than 25,000 feathered friends.
Well, a very good morning to you.
Good morning to you both, and greeting.
Oh my, this is like something out of Star Trek. This is fantastic.
The twins' habit of dressing the same and talking in stereo has made them internationally famous.
Do you feel like you are really one person?
Sometimes we do feel like just one person. Yes, we do.
And being honest here, Helen, can you tell them apart?
I have problems. To be honest, I do.
Because people have accused them of rehearsing this, but...
As the Twinnies say, how can you rehearse a conversation? You know, it's just them.
Whatever it is, the Twinnies have an amazing affinity with birds like Rob, a pelican they've raised from birth who likes doing household chores and even helps out in the garden.
Good boy. Yeah.
Good boy. Good boy.
But the Twinnies also suffer from a raft of health problems which affects their hearts and blood pressure. But Mum Helen says they never complain. Do you think it's a case that the Twinnies save the birds and the birds save the Twinnies?
I think the birds are saving the Twinnies.
Obviously the work you do isn't cheap, it all costs money.
No. We picked a costly passion. Yes, we certainly did.
Which brings us to today. We were here because the Twinnies have launched an online appeal to raise funds to save their wildlife centre. The owner of the property wants to sell and the 20s can't afford the $1.2 million asking price. So they're hoping to raise cash to keep funding their work and move to a new location. It's the fundraiser which sparked a venomous call from a woman abusing Paula, who then ended up in hospital.
Right?
You right? You okay?
No, she's not good, Mum.
Do you need to sit down? Halfway through our interview, Paula starts to complain about extreme headaches.
Do you want to sit down, Mum? I see, why am I getting these headaches for? I'm getting headaches for, Bridget. Oh, quick, I gotta sit.
You want to sit?
There's a chair back here. Do you want me to grab one or...? The 20s' mum Helen and Faye, a volunteer at the centre, rush to help.
I'll just take a blood pressure, please.
Oh, Faye, why am I getting them?
Stress. Don't worry, the doctor said stress. And as far as the woman that made the nasty phone call, if she's sick or she's troubled in any form or any way, I hope she gets help.
Well, that's very generous of you under the circumstances.
Yeah, you know, you can't hate. I've always said you shouldn't hate.
How's the head, any worse or better? No.
But you're not going to die on me, are you?
No, don't say that to her.
No, she said that to me the other day.
No, that's all I stop.
Eventually, Paula is taken to an ambulance where she's stabilised and Sister Bridget is allowed to travel with her to the hospital.
You're not going to die, all right?
Oh, she said she didn't feel like she's going to die.
I know, and that's what
Just they catch up with that woman.
Yeah, well, we won't worry about the woman at the moment or anything, okay? You put that right out of your mind, okay? All right? You take a seat in there for a minute, okay?
And if it's any indication of character, Bridget is concerned because she feels they let me and our producer, James, down. Take care of one another and we'll come back.
Yes.
We'll talk again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And thank you. Sorry.
No, don't apologise. Don't apologise. Look after yourself and look after your sister.
Bridget has now been in hospital for almost a week, Paula at her side. That is, when Paula hasn't been forced for the first time to rescue a pelican by herself.
They are angels without wings. They're not flying away anywhere yet.
Let's hope not.
No.
Helen has made a complaint to the police and says they're now investigating the caller who abused Paula.
I'm angry to a point, but I feel sorry for the woman, obviously.